Now, one of the best things about our election campaign coverage has been the morning conversations with undecided voters across the country, trying to figure out why they're having so much trouble deciding who to vote for, what are the issues that matter in making that decision. So this morning, now that you know what's happened and they know what's happened, we brought back 4 of our voters and our viewers, and we're going to have a good long chat about what happened last night. So let me introduce. We have Raj Krishnan, who is back with me in Toronto in studio. Andrew Athey, nice to see you both, and thank you for coming in this morning.
Thank you very much for having us.
Edie Craddock is in Paris. Morning, Edie.
Good morning. How are you?
I am well, thank you. And Marcus Henry in Majorville, New Brunswick. Marcus is back, not just a favorite of our show, but also a favorite of the National. Tell everybody what you asked me this morning, Marcus.
Yes, my question was, which number is higher, the amount of seats that the NDP have won or the amount of cups of coffee you've had to drink to keep going after being up all night?
I am clearly winning that competition. For all you, but it's not about me, it is about you. And listen, to all 4 of you, thank you very much for coming back. It's been such a pleasure to have you as part of our coverage. Marcus, I'm just going to go, can we go around the horn really quickly? You were undecided when we came to you, Marcus, and spoke to you. Tell me in the end, Marcus, who you decided to vote for and why.
Well, here where I sit, I was leaning very heavily towards Andrew Scheer as the lesser of the 6 evils. Ultimately, I ended up voting for Jenica Atwin in the Green Party, who won here last night. And the reasoning for that for me was, like I said, I was leaning conservative, but then I looked at the polling numbers here in Fredericton. It was called the fight for Fredericton for a reason, because as of October 10th, it was 31% Liberal, 31% Conservative, 31% Green. Yeah. The Green Party called me up, and Elizabeth May was in town, wanted to come out and talk about the flooding here. I don't have my chest waders on today, which is nice. They came out and sat on the porch. We had a nice talk. I had a few concerns that I spoke with Jenica about. I got some reassurances, and when it looked like the Liberals were going to come in with a minority, I thought that maybe we would have a better voice if we put Jenica in as our member of Parliament, and to have somebody up there would actually have Trudeau's ear as opposed to putting in a Conservative that would just end up butting heads and fighting.
And Jenica Atwin, indeed, the 3rd of the Green MPs to be elected from Fredericton, and the first outside Vancouver, outside British Columbia. I called you Henry. I meant Harvey, Marcus Harvey. I'm sorry. But okay, so that you went Green. In the end, you went Green. Hold on to that thought. Edie, in the end, who did you choose and why?
I went with Mr. Scheer. I went for the Conservatives on the basis of fiscal responsibility. I do not believe in massive debt. In Ontario, we are just burdened with unbelievable debt from the previous Liberal governments. And so my decision came early, and in fact, I voted in the advanced polls.
You did. You were one of those in the advanced polls. All right, Andrew, same question to you.
Sure. It was a very difficult decision for me, but I ultimately ended up choosing the Liberals. For me, I think the deal breaker was the lack of a credible Conservative climate plan. And I think that the Liberals are probably the party that will do the best balance between the economy and the environment.
Difficult decision and made it late. How did you feel about making your vote?
I didn't feel great about it, but it was definitely something you just have to do, whether you like the options or not. It's sort of, the onus is on you as a citizen of the country to get out there and vote, and so I did that. Okay,
so far we have Green, we have Conservative, we have Liberal. Raj, to you.
Yes, so for me too, it was a very difficult decision because I just felt like there was among the major parties, there's no one party that stood out. As you know, I'm a longtime Liberal supporter. My values are more on the Liberal side, but in this election, I just found the credibility for Trudeau just wasn't there. I didn't have the support for Trudeau. So I went more for the NDP, and I was especially, I liked the way Jagmeet Singh sort of rallied, the common man and talked about the common man's problems, including things like pharmacare. I'm a big proponent of pharmacare, the extension of Medicare to pharmacare, especially since I think we're the only industrialized country that I'm aware of that doesn't have both a Medicare and a pharmacare program.
So that's interesting. So you did go with you weren't scared off by many people were saying, you know, vote for Trudeau. If you want a progressive vote for Trudeau.
Some
You can
friends
still
did
go
tell
with
me that.
NDP.
Yes.
But just 24 seats. That's not a big result, and very concerning about what the NDP got in Quebec. What do you think about the choice for your party now?
Yeah, it's unfortunate what happened with the Bloc Québécois. I know the Bloc Québécois took over a lot of the seats, I think, that the NDP were hoping for, but I still think there's hope for, you know, for people to accept Jagmeet Singh, especially in Quebec and New Brunswick, in the coming years.
He should stay on?
Oh, absolutely, he should stay on, yes. I agree with that.
Andrew, to you, I'm coming back around the horn, everybody, so don't go away there on your FaceTime and on your Skype. But Andrew, to you then, making the decision to vote Liberal on the climate plan.
Yeah.
Justin Trudeau is going to have to negotiate with someone now and make deals on an issue-by-issue basis, it looks like. What are you looking for on climate plan in this new minority context?
I think in the minority context, I'm looking hopefully for strong collaboration between all those parties in that minority context. What parties will have to support the Liberals, I'm not fully sure yet. But definitely looking forward to some better collaboration between these parties, because that's definitely something we need at this time.
What message do you think Canadians sent to Justin Trudeau by reducing his majority to a minority?
I think Canadians were rubbed a little bit the wrong way by a lot of his virtuous messaging on a lot of issues. And I think they want to see him be a leader with substance and be honest to people. And just find creative solutions to difficult problems that we face.
Okay. Edie, back to you, choosing Andrew Scheer and the Conservatives for that fiscal restraint that you're looking for. We've been talking through the morning. Given everything that's happened to Justin Trudeau in the past year and a half, this was, most people would say, a winnable election for Andrew Scheer. He did not get the most seats. Should he stay on as party leader? What do you think about his future?
I've thought of that a lot this morning, and the answer is yes. I think he should stay on. He has my support, and one of the things that I noticed in the PC platform was movement away from what I call the merger with the Reform Party from years ago. I saw Scheer's party come back a little bit more to middle and let go of some of the extreme right-hand things that came with that merger, and that's critical. And I think it worked. So I would encourage him to stay.
How long do you think he should give Justin Trudeau? I mean, you heard him last night or in his speech saying, we're ready and waiting, and we're going to be holding these Liberals to account. How long should they work together before not?
No, I think that everybody needs to put a very strong effort forward and work together. There is no need for this country to go back to the polls in a hurry. This is what the people of Canada have given them to deal with. I don't like it. Lots of people don't like it. But you need to really try and make it work. I don't want a knee-jerk reaction that we're back at the polls in 3 or 4 months. They need to really try.
I want you to know, Edie, the two gentlemen here with me in studio are nodding very keenly. They don't want it either. And I think after the campaign we've all been through, I think maybe that would be the majority view for Canadians. Marcus, back to you. What are your thoughts on just being we haven't been for a number of years now, with a minority government?
Well, here in New Brunswick, we just had a provincial election, and we are currently in a minority government here in New Brunswick. The party that holds the balance of power has given the Conservatives, who are here in New Brunswick, 2 years. We'll back you for 2 years based on how you do. And that nationally is going to have to be that way as well. We can't go through another election soon. Trudeau has to recognize what's going on out west and the fact that Scheer got the popular votes. The carbon tax thing's a big deal. And the fact that the country's been kind of broken up into, I said, one person on social media today said, look at the map now, it's 3 separate countries. And in a lot of ways it is. So hopefully we can get our people, get them to work together and listen to each other. It would be nice if we didn't have to have this multi-party system, if we could just be Canadians and work together.
Okay, you've raised an issue I want to get to, but very quickly, Marcus, one more time to you. You voted for a Green candidate who was elected, but there was an awful lot of enthusiasm for the Green Party and for Green candidates coast to coast, and it did not translate into very much electoral success, just one more person going to Ottawa. What are your thoughts on the future of the party and the leader right now?
Well, like I said, Elizabeth was out here a week or so ago on the porch, and she's a very gregarious person, very passionate about what she believes in. I believe she should stay on. I mean, they did make gains votes-wise, and got the extra seat. I think they should keep doing what they do. They are a good voice for the environment. For me personally, I found it a little heady. But ultimately, like I said, I got the reassurances from Jenica out here that, they're willing to work with the other parties, and, they should stay on. It's nice to have that little voice, that little conscience in there. So hopefully, they stick it out, stay on, and maybe make a few more gains.
Off she goes to Ottawa to represent your views there. Edie, a couple of last seconds to you. Again, voting for Andrew Scheer, who made the point they got more popular vote but did not win the same number of seats. I'm wondering how you feel about that and whether that for you is a case for electoral reform in this country.
Well, it is very much, and I think it also goes back to he's cleaning up the party platform a little bit. We do need electoral reform. I like the comment about 3 countries. We have a really big problem here. Trudeau, in my view, is not a strong enough leader to keep these 3 countries that we now have together. He's going to need a lot of help from people. And I will say one thing, he does not have a clear mandate. And I was a little offended when he said that getting rid of the Conservative vote was not voting for austerity. And I don't think that being fiscally responsible is a vote for austerity. It's a vote for being responsible and keeping your house in order.
Okay, I'll leave it with you. Edie, hang on there for just a second. Gentlemen here in the studio, Andrew and Raj, last thoughts to you on that question of division, because we're right in front of the map here in studio, and you see, as Edie referred to it, 3 different countries. Where are we today, Andrew, as a country?
I think we're in a much different place than we were in 2015. A lot of regional differences. Some in BC, probably driven by some pipeline politics. And one would wonder the impact of Doug Ford on the Ontario vote as well.
Okay, Raj, you get the last word. I don't know if there's anything you're concerned about or a last thought as we wrap up this campaign.
I think this is a time for to have less divisive politics, because I notice when the people are campaigning, they use very divisive language to refer to one another. You have a lot of name calling. It was a very negative campaign. And I'm hoping for more cooperation, especially between the NDP and the Liberals, to try and get some of those policies made to policies. And that's sort of what I'm hoping for with this new government.
If they're awake, hopefully they're listening to you to get that message loud and clear. Truly, I'm not lying to you. I have enjoyed our conversations in the morning so very much, a highlight of our coverage. So Raj and Andrew and Edie and Marcus, thank you to all 4 of you and to everybody else to whom we've spoken over these 40 days. Thanks for your wisdom and for sharing it with us every morning.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.
A pleasure. Thank you.